The new job.
Oh, it's good. It's kind of interesting. For those of you that don't know, I started a new job that's essentially doing what I was doing as a field bio, but remotely. So from like aerial photographs and different sources of information, I like kind of compile a bunch of information, then make a determination if a field bio should go to this destination and like look for what they should look for essentially, like what species might be there. And I transitioned to a remote position because I want to travel in the upcoming months and I wanted to still do bio, obviously, because I love it. And I just super manifested hard this
Yeah, somehow you got the
situation.
best of both worlds. That's
I know.
crazy.
I was like, because I'm a biologist, so it's like almost impossible to do remotely. Like you have to be in person on the ground. But then, like a few months ago, I was like, I really want to travel. I've never like really had the opportunity, and now I do. And I feel like I just started thinking like I'm gonna like Dolly Parton always says, I don't know if you heard this quote ever, Chris,
No.
but she essentially has these like crazy long nails and she also plays guitar. And it's like almost impossible to
Yeah.
like play guitar with like crazy long nails. But she always says, she said, you pick your priorities and then make everything else like work around it pretty much. And I always stuck
Took that
that
as your
always stuck with
motto.
me.
I can
Yeah.
tell by your lifestyle.
Yeah,
That
no,
is
it's
you.
like you pick what's important and then everything else will work around it. So right now in my life, I'm like, I have the opportunity to travel. I'm like, this is what I want for myself for right now. But also priority is bio. So I'm like, okay, these things have to work out. And then it just came to me. Like it literally just came to me. I was manifesting really hard and I was thinking about it for months and it worked out. But I really like it. Being inside is hard for now while I'm like on this learning curve of like remote work because honestly, I'm not that like tech savvy because I'm not really on the computer or phone or anything that much. But I'm learning, and I think eventually it's gonna like mesh well, like
Yeah.
with the lifestyle I'm trying to live and being 100% remote and wanting to travel and doing everything I want all at the same time. Okay, well, anyways, welcome back.
To another episode of
Biophilia. It's my turn. For those of you that don't know, we're kind of like on a weird out of order situation where I actually haven't given a episode in a while just because I don't know, weird
like 3 or 4 weeks.
logistical things. So this is my first episode back because I feel like I stockpiled a lot and then you stockpiled a lot. Anyways, so here we are. So I'm super excited. I have such a good episode and it's kind of a different format because it's like more of a story,
Oh,
which is
okay.
fun. So today I'm talking about mountain lions.
Have you ever seen a mountain lion?
Oh, crazy story actually. Whoa. I actually didn't even think about this to say, but yes, I was on the news for a mountain lion
What? You hit
because
it with your car?
no,
That was
oh,
the
that would
bear?
be horrible. Oh my God, could you imagine? Then it comes out at me like all crazy. No. So what happened was my parents' house back in San Luis, they
Not, you can't say San Luis.
Obispo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you say that and it sounds like you're from the South.
Yeah, no, not no. But they have this like big glass front door, so it's completely see through. And I have a little dog, like a Maltipoo, tiny little dog. Anyways, they live on a mountainside way out in the country. And so there's a lot of like wildlife and there's a hiking trail right behind us and everything. And essentially one night, uh I heard this huge thud like in high school. And I was like, whoa. And it woke my entire family up. We are like, what the fuck? Like, what is that? And then we all kind of went downstairs. We are like, what's going on? Like, what the heck? And then
There's a mountain lion
we
in your house.
looked at the cameras. Essentially, my little dog was barking. Two mountain lions came up to our door and tried to jump through it at my dog. And that's what the bang was the mountain lion jumping into our
Like fully
door.
commit, like not realizing there's
Fully
glass.
commit, not thinking there's glass. So we had this like video of this mountain lion at our front door jumping through it and then like kind of like running into it and like and, like whatever. And so I don't know how the news found out,
Yeah,
but essentially
that's
they
what you're
did.
like,
Yeah, the news came by and they interviewed my stepdad and were like, oh, like what the heck? And he was like, it was crazy. And anyways, so I have this video of mountain lions jumping at my door, but that's the only interaction I've ever had.
that's wild interaction. Very. Because you know what the saying is, right?
What?
You don't see the mountain lions; they see you.
Okay, that's where I was going, was because when I was a field bio, even more recently, I was in this crazy rural area and I found mountain lion scat.
Oh.
and I Googled it, double checked, because I thought that, and then I was like, well, let me just like not be paranoid, you know. I used to like call Chris all the time when I was in the field,
Oh
being
my
like,
god.
I think I'm about to be eaten.
No,
Like,
the worst one though is when you somehow manage to get two wheels of your car into a ditch.
I was like,
And
what do I
and
do?
it was the front two wheels or the back two wheels. It was like the two side wheels were in a ditch. And then I'm like, how do you get yourself in this? And then for the next 30 minutes, she's trying to dig out like a hole and like put rocks under one of the tires and try and get out. She goes away the next day or whatever, maybe later that day or whatever. The tow truck comes out and tries to get her, and the tow truck gets stuck in the damn ditch. And I was like,
Got,
there's no way this is happening.
yep. It took 2 tow trucks to get me out of this ditch that I didn't even realize I fell into at the first point. Anyways, different time. I was hiking out in this area, and I saw this cat, and I was like, holy shit, no way. I mean, long story short, I didn't see anything,
But they're there.
but they're there, and it was fresh.
Oh wow.
And I was just like, oh God, like I know it's right here, and nobody's gonna know when I die. But I mean, I guess they don't want to see you. Like,
Yeah.
so that's what I always just tell myself. I'm like, they don't want to interact just as much as I don't want to interact. So, I mean, and also they have such a good sense of smell that they usually smell you coming before you even know. Also, I learned to listen to the birds. When I was like really getting into birding, the birds tell you when there's like a threat nearby, which is crazy. Like I started to be tapped into that channel, and now I can like I know when there's a coyote. Yeah, I was like, I know when there's a coyote or like something like alarming them. I'm like, oh, I hear you guys. Like I'm right there. It's crazy. Okay. Anyways, so let's get into it.
Mountain lions.
Mountain lions. Let's get with some like biology. Let's do some like ground cover first, and then we'll get into like the good shit.
Okay.
Okay. So their scientific name is Puma concolor, which means cat of one color. They can't roar.
Really?
But they can purr. And they're North America's largest wild cat after the jaguar. So, like you're saying, they're way bigger than you would think.
They have jaguars?
I freaking guess. That's what they said.
I know we got them down in South America, right?
I don't know where jaguars
Like
are,
Amazon?
but I guess I didn't even know. Maybe jaguar is like a loose term. Wow. Yep. It says, while jaguars are not a common sight in North America, they do still exist in the United States. They're most likely to be found in the southwestern states, particularly Arizona, sometimes across the border from Mexico.
I have heard about that.
And also reports of them in New Mexico and Texas. Okay, so second largest wild cat. Mm-hmm. They evolved in North America and then migrated south.
Because aren't there some in the Andes?
I'm sure they're pretty widespread. I assume, but honestly, I don't know. There's estimated like 4,500 individuals today.
Oh, so not that many.
Not that many. They're statewide specially protected mammal. So because I think there's not that many. And we'll get into why and like the threats and what's going down and all the studies that are going on right now. So their anatomy and stuff and like biology, they are solitary animals and they like to be awake. It's called crepuscular. Have you heard of this term?
No, maybe.
It's like they basically want to be awake during twilight.
Oh.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Or dawn, and then they're also nocturnal. So they're just like not super during the day, but pretty much the rest of the time. Their range for like an adult male or female on average is 150 square miles.
Oh, like their territorial range.
Yeah, 150 square miles. And they can run up to 50 miles an hour.
What?
Yeah. 50. So you don't want to run. That's what they would say, like act big, be scary, because you are not running from it. They can leap 20 feet vertically and 40 feet horizontally.
Whoa.
Yeah.
20 feet vertically.
Think about that.
Dog, that's like
over the house.
Yeah, that's jumping over a roof.
I don't know. That's what they said.
40 feet vertically?
40 feet horizontally. Which I don't even understand how.
Yeah, I mean, they must get
maybe off a cliff or something.
No, they probably get a good running start, and they can probably like leap like a creek or something, like clear a creek.
Oh, crazy! Could you imagine seeing that though? I'd be freaked out.
Imagine I'd be like, I see it on the other side of the creek, I'd be like, haha, screw you, and all of a sudden it comes flying at me, and you're done. Mm-hmm. That's crazy though. 20 feet vert.
Yeah.
Put that
okay, and then something else I was gonna say is this is something I like more recently learned. But did you know that they chirp to imitate birds?
No way.
Yes. So they'll
don't roar, but they can chirp?
They chirp like a bird. They sound like a bird. You guys should look it up, like a video of a mountain lion chirping. It sounds like a bird. Like, and I think it's a kind of like a camouflage technique, like to essentially make themselves undetected so that like if you hear rustling in the bushes, you just assume it's a
Oh my
bird
god.
because they literally sound like oh, I can't do it. But it's crazy. And then they also scream when they're mating. So that's another crazy sound. Have
I
you
think I
seen
have
this?
heard of that before
Yeah.
though.
That there's videos on it about it online. It's crazy. So, yeah. The cubs are born with spots and they stay with the mother for up to 2 years. So there's like a little bit of nurturing, mothering going on, but not too long. And then, yeah, so then the spots kind of go away when they get older. And their habitat and range is from, well, natively, it's from Canadian Yukon to the southern Andes. So there you go.
Okay, I was gonna say I feel like I've heard of them in the Andes before.
Mm-hmm. And then they're recolonizing like the Midwest and the East slowly, but they're kind of more over here for now.
That's great. That's a huge range.
I know.
All the
But I
way.
wonder, it seems like they're kind of lower numbers, but further spread out.
I was gonna say if there's 4,500 individuals between that range, that is insane.
Well, I don't know if that number is only for North America.
Oh, okay, fair.
That could or could not be. I
But
don't know.
still, that's so much territory and so minimal or so little of them.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't really know population dynamics of other big cats.
Yeah. Who knows? They're super adaptable, and that's something that also like has really helped them with like urbanization and human interaction is that they're able to like survive on the edge of these urban zones, like in Santa Monica Mountains, which I'm going to talk about. That's like where a lot of the research is going on right now. And then Boulder and Black Hills are all places where like they're successfully kind of staying near urban areas, but not, yeah, not suffering too much.
They were definitely up at UCSC.
Probably.
And the forest is back there. 100% there had to be some.
Let's see. So ecosystem balance of mountain lions. So they're a keystone species also, kind of like the sea urchin we were talking about the other day. They shape the ecosystem through trophic cascades. So without mountain lions, deer populations grow unchecked, and then overconsumption of deer depletes native plant communities, affecting the tree regeneration and harms the entire habitat. So it's basically like mountain lion, deer, native plants, and without one, the rest suffer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the depletion of mountain lions is a pretty big issue for that reason. And yeah, if the deer just overgraze, then there's no habitat for the rest of all the other animals. So it's pretty important to keep these in check.
Are their population generally in check currently, or are they a little bit?
Yeah, I think they seem in check currently. I didn't read anything that was saying that they aren't
endangered or anything like that.
Well, I think they're like special concern, but they're not too bad to the point where like our habitats are suffering yet.
That makes sense.
Oh, this is interesting. I put in this little note about a study done in Santa Cruz Mountains by UC Berkeley showed mountain lion presence led to fewer coyotes and more foxes and small mammals, which shifts the entire food web because limiting coyote populations, mountain lions can increase biodiversity of smaller species.
So they were saying because there's more mountain lions, there's less coyotes, so there's foxes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so just something like interesting about like how they
hurt coyotes, like they hunt coyotes.
I think that the like ecological niche that they fill is just like they're more dominant than coyotes. Like I think that the coyotes would eat the same things as, but like I don't necessarily think a mountain lion is going to eat a coyote, but because they're more dominant, they're going to win the prey over the coyote, and they're not going to want to challenge the mountain lion. So I feel like that's kind of how that goes. So they control those mesopredators like coyotes and raccoons and stuff. And they regulate deer populations. So, like I was kind of talking about, increasing human encounters with mountain lions has led to interesting conflict points like pet attacks and rare human attacks and livestock predation.
I'll say up at the ranch, we had to be careful of coyotes, but we also probably had to be aware of mountain lions. Like I remember we would sit up there right when you're saying actually, right around when sunset's dropping, me and my dad would sit up there, and he would have his gun, and you kind of sit there out in the open field where all the cows are, and you'd see the coyotes kind of like preying in, and then you would shoot them.
Whoa!
So they wouldn't get to the cows. Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. You saw that?
Yeah, that's what we would do.
Oh my gosh, that's scary. I don't know if I could do with that, but
what do you mean?
I could not watch somebody kill a coyote.
It's trying to eat your cows.
I know, but it's just a baby.
Who said it was a baby coyote?
Huh? No, it's just a baby. It doesn't know any better. Like it's like it is what it is. That's the circle of life. It's just trying to eat, bro. Okay, so now here we go. This is the part I'm excited for.
Do it.
So there's basically, Griffith Park in LA area.
Yes.
So
Like Griffith Observatory?
yeah,
Yes.
but it's like the park general area. Anyways, so a study named Griffith Park Connectivity Study, initiated by the Friends of Griffith Park and Cooper Ecological Monitoring, aimed to understand the movement of large cats around Griffith Park. So basically, this one mountain lion is super duper famous, and his name is P-22. So then the National Park Service partnered with these people and made these like Puma profiles. So all these tags have like profiles, like 1 through whatever. They're probably at hundreds now. But basically, this one P-22 mountain lion is super famous because he was named the Hollywood cat by the National Park Service because he was a resident of the Griffith Park and general LA area. And he lived to be about 12 years old. So he's one of the oldest cats in the studies. And he was originally documented in 2012. And shortly after that, the National Park Service gave him one of the GPS radio collars. At that time, he was at 1.5 years old.
Oh, so very young.
90 pounds. And he persisted for more than 10 years in the smallest home range that has ever been recorded for an adult male mountain lion. He was in Griffith Park. It's way too small by a factor of 31, they said.
Wow.
And then, so why do we care? Kind of is the biologist on this project tracked his lineage to a female mountain lion that resided on the western side of the Santa Monica Mountains, meaning that he must have crossed 2 major LA freeways, the 405 and the 101, to get to Griffith Park. So this is a big deal because, and why he's kind of more famous is because one of the main mortality issues with mountain lions is that highway, like traffic across like the Santa Ana area, like LA area. They always are getting hit, and that's a big factor for why their population is dwindling. Specifically, like vehicle collision, not even like humans doing anything necessarily, but they want to cross this section of freeway because of Santa Monica Mountains versus this other space. I guess that's somewhere that they want to frequent all the time, or like at least be able to pass, and they keep trying and then they keep dying.
But why they need those bridges.
I'll get to that.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
And then, so it's really a big feat that this one mountain lion has gotten across these 2 major freeways. And they're like, that's the only way he got over there. So they're like really interested in how he did it and what his deal is. He's also one of the main reasons he's also popular is because there's this like super famous photo of him in front of the Hollywood sign. And so it's like he's like the Hollywood cat. And anyway, super popular. In 2014, he made the headlines for developing mange, which is essentially like if you ingest rodenticide, which is like rat poison, it is an anticoagulant, which like thins your blood a bunch. Yeah. And so when people put these traps outside their home or businesses, it works its way up the food chain, becoming more lethal as the dose accumulates in larger animals.
It's like mercury.
Yeah. And then in UCLA, a graduate study conducted by this girl named Laurel Series of 140 Santa Monica carnivores, 88% tested positive for one or more of these anticoagulant compounds. Wow. So it's like a huge issue within this population and all like large cats or large mammals, I guess, across the board. So ingesting all this leads to mange, which is essentially a parasitic disease of the hair and the skin. And it's rare in wild cats, but when the biologists were replacing the GPS collar on P-22, they noticed this on his skin and his face that it looked like something was obviously wrong. And they treated him with a topical treatment for this, and it was successful.
Oh, wow.
So they really didn't think it was like a human treatment, like a topical antibiotic or whatever it is. So they were like, oh, hopefully, but like that's never really been done because it's kind of rare and also rare for humans to intervene in that sort of situation. Oh, I honestly wanted to look into this more, but I wonder how they sedate them to change a collar. But while they were changing the collar, they also did this. And so it was successful, which is really cool because then he got to live a lot longer than he would have had that like actually gotten to him. And then this is like the crazy part that I really wanted to get to. He was a suspect killer of the koala in the LA Zoo.
Wait.
P22, the mountain lion.
Yes, worked his way into the zoo
Yes.
and murdered an Australian.
Yes. Isn't that crazy? So
How
this is like just the
is there
interesting.
camera footage? There's got to be camera footage.
So I'll tell you, but it's just so interesting, like the way that this like wild animal is intersecting with like urbanization. So one of the LA zoo koalas went missing,
What was
and then I have it. Hold on, let me see. Killarney.
Uh-uh.
Killarney. It's Killarney.
Okay.
That's the koala's name. One of the LA koala zoos or zoo koalas went missing. Then the next day, everybody gets there to the zoo. They're like, they're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's number 11? Like, we're confused. And so then they see a tuft of its hair down the road. And then further down the road, bloody marsupial parts. So then they're like, what the heck happened here? Like, what would even come into the zoo, be able to jump the fence to get into the enclosure and then jump out of the enclosure with a koala? So then they suspect it had to have been a mountain lion.
Yeah.
Because, like, what else could do that? Right?
That's fair.
In this area, in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So then they look at the surveillance, and later the attack itself wasn't recorded, but P22 was seen in the zoo that night all around the enclosure.
Oh, okay. So
it's like almost confirmed,
yeah,
but they couldn't say
it's
for
like
sure.
in murder cases where like the person was right there, but we didn't have footage of him killing her,
Yes.
so we can't really convict them of it.
Exactly. It's like, okay, we have all the pieces, but no like direct evidence.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was
That's pretty
spotted.
tall.
Yes. So I think I have 8-foot wall.
Oh, that's nothing for him though. That's like
Nothing for him, but it is tall. Like, not, I don't think many other species in California could do that.
I don't even think a kangaroo could hop that.
I don't think so. They seem like pretty ground heavy. So it was, and Killarney, the koala, was the oldest in the exhibit.
Damn.
He was 14 years old, and they only lived to be 15.
RP my dog.
So sad.
Moment of silence.
So then, oh, sorry. Moment of silence.
Moment of silence.
So then this sparks a debate of like, what's going on with P22? Does he need to be relocated? Like, he's obviously having like stressful behavioral issues, because that's not normal behavior, you know, like we're
That's
saying,
like starvation, sort of.
It's just abnormal. Like, why are you going into this man-made area, like going to all this trouble to get a koala? Like, it just isn't natural behaviors. It's like, what is going on? So they're like, okay, what's going on? Should we relocate? Should we like euthanize? What's happening? Then they let it go, whatever. Then a few years later, in 2022, P22 killed a dog off a dog walker's leash.
Wow.
So this dog walker was walking their 2 chihuahuas
At Griffith Park?
in the area.
Okay.
This is surveillance. Like, somebody's home camera caught this. So this person walking in like the evening with their 2 little chihuahuas, and they see P22 stalking them, right? And then
Like behind them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Or like kind of in the bushes, like on the side. And then it approaches and it just yanks the chihuahua off, and then it pulled the chihuahua off the leash and left.
That's crazy.
Nobody else was harmed, just the one chihuahua obviously died.
Yeah.
But crazy behavior.
Yeah.
To approach a human to get it's like, again, just this.
It's bizarre behavior.
Bizarre.
Like, doing that to things that are hard to get, you could easily get things that are easy to get.
Exactly. So it's like a distress symbol, almost. So this was extremely rare. And yeah, again, they thought it was a sign of distress and like uncertainty in the mountain lions. Then the National Park Association planned to capture and relocate him to the San Diego Safari Park in 2022 after this instance. And then before they were able to transfer him, I guess he had gotten into what they believed is a vehicle strike. So when he got transferred, he actually ended up needing like medical care because he suffered severe injuries to his head, in his right eye, and internal organs.
So
And
he got transferred to San Diego?
I believe what happened was that they planned to transfer him,
Mm-hmm.
and then before he got
Okay.
transferred, he got hit by a vehicle trying to cross one of these freeways.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also, when they like took him to the hospital for all of these injuries, they found that he had irreversible kidney disease, chronic weight loss, and extensive parasitic skin infections all over his body, as well as arthritis. So then biologists, once he was, because he went to the doctor in San Diego, once he they determined that his quality of life was just too bad, and
Yeah.
so they euthanized him December 17th, 2022. So sad. But what came out of all this is really positive because of all of the media like that P22 got, and then the way that his life tragically ended. It actually spurred the motion to do the Santa Ana corridor, which is what you were kind of saying, like they need a passageway. And now this guy named Wallace Annenberg, he funded mostly, I mean, with other
Donors.
donors, he made this Wallace Amberg Wildlife Crossing.
Do you know where it's crossing over?
It's in Santa Ana. But it's so in 2015, the National Wildlife Foundation and Caltrans proposed a corridor across the 101 freeway in Agora Hills to provide safe crossing for fragmented habitats. And then this big investor, Wallace Annenberg, made like a big donation and made it the project plan sped up
Mm-hmm.
because he put in so much funding. So now it's going to be done in 2026.
Oh, so it's not done yet. It's in the progress.
It's not done, but it's like very well on its way. And also they're doing really cool stuff with like other naturalists and stuff where they're putting native plant communities on the corridor so that the animals want to use that versus like going down so they can get across, and so nobody has to suffer the way that a lot of mountain lions did, and the population can hopefully recover and get to and from where they need to go safely. And then I just wrote this quote from the guy that put in this main donation, and he says, "There's a reason I wanted to support this crossing and issue this challenge. We need to move beyond mere conservation toward a kind of environmental rejuvenation, where wildlife crossings are powerfully effective at doing just that, restoring ecosystems that have been fractured and disrupted. It's a way of saying there are solutions to our deepest ecological challenges, and this is the kind of fresh new thinking that will get us there." So now, when it's finished, it'll be the largest wildlife corridor in the world. So that's really exciting. And like, I think that this project with the National Park Service and all these people in Griffith Park have really like drawn a lot of positive publicity, positive and negative, but a lot of like
Awareness.
eyes and awareness, yeah, to the mountain lion population in this area and how humans are affecting it, and then how they can help it in a positive way. And I think that this corridor is going to spark like a lot of other, hopefully, wildlife crossings and stuff. And not even like for large animals, think of like desert
Yeah.
tortoise, or like, you know, we could go underground, we can go overground, but yeah, it's definitely like human disruption with roads and stuff is a big, big issue. And I think that this is just the beginning of like a great movement.
No, I always didn't understand why we don't have more of these things.
Yeah.
Probably just because of the funding.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're just so beneficial. It allows animals to easily transport across barriers that we've put in their territory.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I was thinking about though is since this all this information you're pretty much talking about is LA, I wonder how the LA fires affected.
My gosh, yeah.
That burns so much habitat, so much
So
territory.
much green space.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder if there's going to be research on that in the next coming years.
Definitely. Definitely like the population dynamics and behavioral changes between now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I know. It's so interesting. Oh, other active mountain lion research before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Chris Wilmers at UCSC is doing a Puma project, which is a long-term study employing GPS collars to monitor mountain lion movements, habitat use, and energetics in the Santa Cruz Mountains. The research provides insights into how these predators adapt to fragmented landscapes and human development. A lot of these Puma project studies are basically how they're reacting to human interaction and urbanization and fragmentation. So, and then Sonoma Mountain, there's a Sonoma Mountain Lion Project, and that focuses on mountain lions in California's North Bay, and it examines habitat use, foraging patterns, wildlife human interactions, and aiming to promote coexistence through community outreach and education. And then lastly, There's the Hopa Mountain Lion Project. This study investigates the impacts of illegal marijuana cultivation on mountain lion ecology.
Oh,
Yeah,
it does
so
take up a lot of land.
yep. Particularly the movement and foraging behaviors conducted in collaboration with the Hopa Valley tribe. It highlights the intersection of wildlife conservation and land use practices.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Okay, just a last closing statement. I wrote, though you may never see one, mountain lions are out there, shaping forests, stalking silently through canyons, and even crossing freeways in search of a future. Their story is not just one of survival, but resilience in a fragmented world, and now more than ever, they need our understanding more than our fear.
Wow, look at you being poetic.
Just saying.
You like to close out with a little poetic.
So every once in a while,
No, they're
I have
nice.
a closing thought,
They're nice. They're nice.
and that's my closing thought. I just think that we spent a long time like fearing them and being like in uncomfortable with their presence, but really they're really important and
We
it's a
need them.
positive. We need them.
We need them. Well, thank you, Haley.
Yeah, you're welcome. Was that good?
Yeah, I like the layout of this one because it allowed for more, like you're saying, more of a storytelling. Like you
Mm-hmm.
got like the basics in at the beginning, and then kind of explain like their personality and their appearances and their correlation with humans, everything through a nice storytelling way. It's
Thank
very
you.
good.
Cool. Okay, well, hope to see you guys back next week. Drop a comment about maybe if you've ever had an interaction with a mountain lion, what it was like. Um, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
Drop us a 5-star.
Bye.
Bye.